Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. We're a little bit late because there were technical gremlins just, messing up things. And we're like, nope, we're not going to start until we're all set. But we're here. We're both wearing red.
We
We're
made
here to celebrate an awesome book. And it's super shiny because there's gold foil, and I currently have a candle going, so I think it's like really
yeah.
it's popping off because of that. So, Jessi, release day, you've had many before, but this is your first traditionally published book.
Yeah.
You want to if somehow someone has never heard of you before, say who you are, what you do, more specifically, other than I write books, and
Darn, that's all I had. No, I am Jessi Elliott, obviously the author of The Devil's Waltz. I've also written several other paranormal / fantasy books. That's really my passion, is like the paranormal, so like fae, demons, vampires, all that fun stuff. But yes, this is my latest release. It is my first traditionally published book, so yeah, a lot of new experiences that I haven't had in the indie side of things, but I'm super excited, super pumped to be here chatting about the book and about the process and just hanging out and answering your questions. And yeah, I'm super pumped to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you. This is I don't know, first romance title of Inimitable. There have been some romance storylines in the previously published ones, but this is no, this is a romance.
For sure.
Although, I mean, to be honest, the whole question of it's there are certain rules of the genre. It's well, in a series, they got there's angst.
Yeah.
It's not all resolved by the end of book one. Then we'd have nowhere to go. So
right.
But it's also the steamiest book that Inimitable has published. And I think we'll probably stay that way through until the next book comes out, where I don't know what you're planning on, helping or whatever. She is hard at work on it, but it is not yet in my inbox. So anyone who has questions about the sequel, she's not telling, and I can't. So
yeah, you're getting nothing from me.
But yeah, just finished an OMG, OMG, OMG. The romance was so good. I live for the bangs. Yes, yes. In fiction, we could all do with a little less in real life, but in books,
yes.
so good. We had people submit questions to Jessi's Instagram story, and I have them here. And then, we can probably do some questions from the audience in this chat as well, but I have some questions prepared as well. So let's just see how it takes us.
Cool.
Because they were in Jessi's Instagram story, she sent me screenshots, and I don't know the order that they came in. I just know the screenshots. So we're just going to go by what's here. It's not necessarily the order of they were being submitted. Well, we're going to have fun. Okay. First question I'm going to ask comes from your fellow inimitable author, Chantel. She says, what was your favorite scene to write? We're jumping right in.
Okay. So it's kind of no spoil. Well, no, it's not.
You can tease, but not full on spoilers, please.
And it's also kind of a non-answer too, because my favorite scene to write was one of the very few scenes that I took from a previous version of the book and rewrote it. It's basically, this isn't a spoiler because you know who and what Xander is and who and what Camille is before you even start the book. It's the scene where Cammy finds out Xander's identity. And I wrote that previously in, I don't even remember which version of the book, but it has always been my favorite because I just picture that scene so clearly in my head, and it's it's still one of my favorites to this day. Rereading it as many times as I have and listening to the audiobook, it's just still one of my top scenes in the book.
I mean, it's a really good choice. So I don't blame you for that at all. That was a very much like your heart breaks because like you like for people who've read the book description, they know like, oh, he's not human. And then for like me, who's helped write the book description, but also had read the book, you know, earlier versions of it, even before this version finally came to be, it's like, you know, the heartbreak is going to happen, and yet it's still like,
like you know that pivotal moment where she finds out has to come at some point. But it's one of the most angsty, besides like closer to the end of the book, the most like angst filled scene, which is probably why it's one of my favorites, because I am a sucker for the angsty romance.
Yeah. I think even happy romances that I enjoy reading, at some point there is some, like, I need a little bit of angst at some point. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be sustained. But if it's all happy-go-lucky the whole time, I'm like, that long, like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel sustainable in a story for that long. I'm like, it's a little less interesting. Like, I don't know, if it's going to be happy-go-lucky for them, then at least give me like some angst, like with family or friends.
Right? Like, they can't all be happy, because what's the point then?
Exactly. Chantel's here. We actually just answered your question about what the favorite scene was. I was going to show this, and then I remembered it's all completely whited out by the screen.
But thank you for coming, and thank you for your question.
Yeah. It was basically the reveal of like Xander's true identity. People should go back and like rewind on full rewatch for the whole answer, because that was fun. Sam is here, another Inimitable author. Holly, hello. Veronica, hi.
Oh my goodness.
And then, hi.
Hello.
Okay, next question. I'm going to mix this up because people clearly submitted by batches, which is awesome. But rather than just do all one questioner, let's do, okay. Katie Wismer said, happy release day. What changed the most during your revisions?
The word count. I am definitely an underwriter. So from the first draft to what the book is today, I added a lot of content, a lot of it like world building details, because I find once it like goes through edits, like through my critique partners and feedback, I do the most amount of editing once somebody else has read it, because my favorite thing is, oh, I almost knocked over my wine. I've barely had any. Okay, we're fine.
You're just riding high. You're excited. It's okay.
Truly. When like I get feedback that's posed as questions, that gets like my thoughts going, and I'm able to expand on thoughts a little bit more. Hi, I love you. So yeah, that's what changes the most, is I end up adding more to the story. Even if I do cut some stuff, overall I come out with it at a higher word count, which is good.
Yeah, I'm also an underwriter for the edits. I think it's good to know where it's like, okay, the world building is what we want to expand on more, or like have me ask questions, like that works best. And being like, oh, can we like tweak this, or can you explain this a little bit more? Like, I'm just a little bit confused, rather than just being like, oh, this is so good, and like, oh, I feel like you skipped something here. You know, it's like, I mean, praise is always important, but when some authors really need to hear like, okay, this is what's missing, and that's what I need. I don't need a pat on the back.
Exactly.
So it's just knowing.
Yeah.
It's just knowing the dynamic and the expectations and things like that. So
I am sipping the wine. Sipping, not chugging.
I believe you, genuinely. I genuinely do. Okay, let's do. Sam is in the chat, and she had asked, "How do you manage your writing time?"
Not well. I mean, so I work a regular like 9 to 5 job, Monday to Friday. So I've switched it up for book two. Actually, I've been writing more in the morning. Like I'll wake up at an ungodly hour and go sit in a cafe and write for like a couple hours, and then go to work, because I find a lot of days at the end of the day, I'm coming home after staring at a computer screen all day, and just the thought of like looking at another screen it's a no-go for me. So I'll do like targeted, like not really sprints, but like time periods. It is, I guess it's a longer sprint because I know that like I have a certain amount of time before I have to go to work. Whereas at the end of the day, it's not really that time constraint, besides the fact that I really try to like stick to a bedtime, because I'm trying to get better about like health in all aspects. So like going to bed at a reasonable hour. Anyways, I digress. But I also find that doing writing sprints with my friends throughout the week, usually after work, it does help a lot too. And then on the weekends, I try to go to, I have a couple of like favorite coffee shops in my city that I like to go to, and just like work outside of my apartment, because sometimes the couch has such a siren call that I just can't resist. And there's so many good shows on TV, and it's just so easy to say, oh, I can work on it tomorrow. But
Right.
yeah, so it's kind of just like playing around with a writing schedule, and maybe not necessarily a schedule, but just like times of the day, and seeing what works best at like what stage of the process I'm in.
So, not a question that was submitted, but going off of that, you mentioned you write in the morning now, and then also after work. Between the two, do you have a preference? Does it depend on like, oh, I'm drafting versus I'm editing? Like, how's that go?
Yeah, I think I prefer drafting in the morning, when my thoughts aren't like so muddled from the day. But editing is, I think, a little bit easier to do at the other end of the day, because I have something on the page to work with already. Whereas with drafting, it's kind of like, all right, this is my starting point. Like I just need to basically word vomit everything that's in my head and in my outline, and kind of like mold it into a book shaped thing at a later date. That's future Jessi's problem. So yeah, I haven't really thought about it like that, but yeah, I think drafting in the morning, when like my brain is all fresh and untainted from the corporate world.
Yeah, that makes sense. We have someone else coming in and saying hi.
That's my aunt.
Hello.
Thank you.
Everyone. We're answering questions that were submitted through Jessi's Instagram story. If you have questions, you can submit them into the chat here, but we will get to them after we have finished these. So you mentioned how you like write in coffee shops, cafes, and all that, and that actually ties perfectly into a question that the only other inimitable author from Canada, Kay Adams, asked, if you worked in a cafe, would you rather serve the Prince of Hell or your favorite author? This is, I'm assuming you know how to work the coffee machine, maybe a little bit better than Cammie knows.
I hope so. And like, I think I would be able to manage. But oh man, that depends, because like if I'm just serving them and I don't really have time to talk, like that's unfair.
Okay, I'm going to tweak the question and be like, I'm going to clarify. This is not a just like, here's your order, go. Okay. Like they're trying to talk time? There's some talking time.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, I'm going to say the Prince of Hell, only because I kind of want to ask him, like, what are you doing? can you like help me out here, brother? Like, I have a lot of questions that would hopefully help me write more of his story. So yeah, because I feel like if I said my favorite author, I would just be like sitting across from them, just like in awe. That said, I've met my favorite author on several occasions. So
But
I
it's
think
still a
it's still like a wild, super cool feeling. But because like I feel like, and especially I don't know if other authors can relate to this. I'm sure they can. You when you make that transition from reader to author yourself, you kind of look, or at least I do, at other authors that you love almost like peers and colleagues. So it's like instead of looking at it like through a fangirl lens, it's like through wow, I really respect you as like a professional. So it's a little bit different, but like, yeah, anyways, that to answer the question, we're going with the Prince of Hell because I just have a lot of questions.
yeah. So that's like a mature answer, and this is a rated R answer.
Thank you, Destiny, for coming out. I really appreciate that.
And
It's
then
your
hi, honey, it's and then hi, honey, it's mom.
mom.
Um,
I gotta say, I got to spend a good portion of my release day with my mom checking out the book in Indigo, which is
that's
also really
lovely.
special because it's her birthday. So happy
Yes.
birthday to Mama Elliott.
Happy birthday, Mama Elliott.
So I was really lucky to be able to celebrate with her today. But
And
yeah,
then, what's also kind of cool is that you're the first Inimitable author to have all three editions formats out on the same day.
yeah.
Hadn't been planned necessarily from the get-go, but like kind of cool.
Like I feel like the universe was at play here. So
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that, it chose instead of moving the audiobook date earlier, like we were both thinking would, maybe we could get that to happen. It's like, nope, we're gonna move everything
yeah,
to the audiobook release date, which happens to be your mother's.
yeah.
It works out. Just trying to find the acknowledgments because I think you are very sweet and like mention. Oh, that's the about the author. Yeah. You're thanking all your writer friends and family and then also reader. Thank you for picking up the book. So pick up the book.
Yeah.
So Jessi can thank you. Hardcover has bonus content in the back. If you're going to a Polycon, there's a different version that awaits you there. So you can also do that. Ebook, great because it's an ebook. And then audio, super
So
great
good. I've been listening
experience.
to it all day. Bridget and Jake did a phenomenal job, which does not surprise me at all. They're fabulous. So yeah, I'm just gonna gush about them the whole time. They're just, I love them.
Amara, I see your question in the chat. I have started and we will come back to it later. Let's see. Natalie Locke, who is an inimitable author of a nonfiction title, says, did you have to set certain moments on to simmer or light the fire during editing? You have to set certain moments. Okay, let's see if I know. I think she got a little poetic in the question, and I'm like, let's see if I understand what she's asking. I think she's asking if you had to like tone down or like turn up the intensity of any scenes during editing. Natalie, if you're watching this on replay or you come in and you want to clarify in a comment, that'll be great. But we're gonna go with that question of like, did you modulate the intensity of certain scenes during editing?
Yes, in the sense that based on like or early reader feedback, they like certain reactions weren't necessarily on the page enough. like in my head, I knew what the characters were feeling and experiencing, both like internally and externally. But I did flesh those out a little bit more on the page just to really pack a harder punch. Sorry, not sorry. Had to happen.
Yeah, I think it makes it a better experience.
Yeah.
Not a question, but someone named Raymond Griffiths, author on Instagram, said, "No questions, just super proud of you. High five." Or like double emoji with the purple heart.
It's a fellow Canadian author.
Cool, cool. Love that. Holly asked, what was the hardest part of writing The Devil's Waltz?
I mean, just like pages 1 through to the end. No, I think the hardest part was full stop. The hardest part was reaching my own expectations for the book. I honestly, like, to be completely transparent, I don't feel like I did, because nothing was going to be as good as the story played out in my head. Like, I could be the world's most talented writer and it still wouldn't, just because my expectations for this story in particular were so unbelievably high, because I wrote the first version of it 10 years ago. So finally, where it came to the point where it was, this is your last shot and then it's going to be published, I don't think I necessarily realized the immense pressure that was going to put on myself. So that was the hardest part of writing the book, and continues to be the hardest part, writing the sequel, along with readers, incredible, lovely readers, very lovingly demanding the sequel.
I know, they're like, oh my God, I finished it. I need book 2. And it's like, as a reader, I fully understand. As a fellow author, I'm like, give the woman time to breathe. Like,
yeah,
it takes time.
Yeah. No.
So yeah,
it's a good problem to have, though. I really do appreciate it, and yeah, we'll get there.
absolutely. Chandra, another Inimitable Books author, asked, do you have a favorite character? This does not have to be your favorite character to write, which is a separate question if the answer is different.
My favorite fictional character?
I think it's supposed to be from The Devil's Waltz.
Okay, because I was gonna say Chandler Bing from Friends.
I mean, okay, let's go off on this for a moment, and then you can say who your favorite is from your own book.
So it's Chandler. I think I just connect with him and his like use of humor and sarcasm as a coping mechanism. I just love him, and just Matthew Perry in general. I love. But from The Devil's Waltz, it's hard because I'm working on book 2, so my favorite character is different now, and it changes throughout. But for book 1, I'm going to say Blake, because he's just a little rascal.
Oh, Blake is great.
He's the comedic relief. I mean, okay, so like I said, Chandler Bing's my favorite fictional character. I feel like Blake is like maybe the demonic equivalent of Chandler Bing. I don't know. They at least have similarities. But Blake is the main male character's best friend. He is just such a goof, but also like could kill you with a flick of his wrist. Zara is showing just a quick text exchange, and literally I listened to this on audio today and I was cackling in my car because he also has a British accent, and it's like, it's a fake British accent because he literally spent like maybe a year or something in London, and just like picked up an accent and now just continues to speak with it, but it's not a great accent.
Are you coming home soon? You better tell me if you're bringing her here. You also better bring me one of those chocolate croissants. Get me a croissant. Are you getting my messages, X? Please confirm you have my croissant.
Yeah, he was really concerned about getting a snack.
He had priorities.
He also has pink hair, which I love. And his style is iconic. So I think everyone is going to absolutely adore him. I do, for sure.
Now that you say Blake is the demon Chandler Bing, I can't unsee it.
And I'm just having that realization right now as well. So we're in this together.
Pink hair is always great. Yes. I personally have never had pink hair, but I love it on people. And as someone who misses having a fun color hair, understand. Okay, so Holly had asked, who is your favorite character to write and why? And if it's Blake, it's like because you kind of identify with the sarcasm and humor and stuff, or if it's someone else, what?
Like, I want to say certain parts of Camille really resonated with me and was kind of like my experience in a lot of things. Like, she does suffer from panic attacks, and I pulled from my own experience to basically describe any of the like anxiety moments she has in the book. And then for Xander, I'm trying to, how can I word this? He's I think he'll be more so my favorite to write in book 2, just because of his character's journey. It's also very intimidating. I am extremely terrified of writing his character arc in book 2. It was kind of like way toned down in book 1, so it's really kicking me in the ass for book 2, but I think it's going to force me to grow as a writer, so that's always a unique experience and something that I'm looking forward to and scared of, so it's great.
Totally understand. Amara says, I love that she has anxiety and panic attacks, but she can still kick ass and is not a victim. And I think it was really good representation. I felt seen. I'm sure other people will as well. And I feel like you don't necessarily get that in like a book when you have demon hunting and things like that. It's like the most that the main character, who's either supposed to be really good at it naturally or like gets thrown into like, oh, you're training, but you're still expected to be good at it, is the like fear of like, oh, I'm not good at it. Whereas this is like, some of it's connected to that because she has family trauma connected to demon hunting, but like, you know, it's not just that. She has anxiety about other things, which makes her even more human and relatable.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Unpopular Reader on Instagram, that is the username, I'm not dissing anyone, said, happy release day. What is your outlining process, if you have one?
It's pretty... I never used to have one, but now I feel like just because of deadlines and like more intricate world building, I kind of have to. But I usually start out like very basic with a Pinterest inspo board and a Spotify playlist, because I can't write without music. I pull a lot of inspiration, like scene level inspiration from music. So I'll kind of like have my brainstorming period where I just like listen to songs that I feel like fit the vibe of the book, like on repeat, while I kind of wait for the scenes to materialize in my thoughts. And then I will replay them over and over and over, like a movie, until I'm like clear on what they are. And then I do a pretty basic chapter by chapter outline, really only jotting down the main points of the scene, because I also like to give myself the opportunity to do a little bit of discovery writing, because otherwise I find like if I am doing an outline to the scene level, sentence level details, then it's almost like I feel like I've already written the book and it's not as fun when it comes to drafting. So yeah, I kind of stop once I have a chapter by chapter outline. Sometimes, like for book 2, I have most of the chapters done. Then there's kind of this blank period and then the final chapter. I know how book 2 ends. There's just like this little gap that I need to bridge that I'm hoping becomes clear to me as I'm writing all the previous chapters. So fingers crossed, because otherwise we'll figure it out. Again, future Jessi's problem. But
I mean, also you have awesome critique partners, beta readers. Me will be like,
yeah, exactly.
Here's a question. Have you considered blank? And then you could probably be like, oh, take this and do something magical with it. I'm sorry that I didn't give credit to the fact that Chandra had also asked what the hardest part of writing the book was. So just to put that out there, I am looking at all of them now. So my bad. Natalie had also asked that, like I said, a lot of people submitted multiple questions, which is great. We love it. Natalie had asked, and you kind of mentioned like it when you're outlining, but when you're writing, do you have to like set the environment around you to get into a scene?
I like to try more so now. Before, I kind of would just sit down wherever and just put headphones in. Music really grounds me, so I find that does help. But now I'm trying this new thing where I'm like romanticizing the whole process. So whether that be in a coffee shop, the one coffee shop that I like to go to in my city, the vibes are just chef's kiss already. So I feel like that helps set the mood. But if I'm at home, like I definitely have to have a clear workspace. And then I will like usually make the coffee and light a candle and put on music and kind of like get in the zone that way. And it does also help to like read either the stuff that came before the scene I'm about to write or like some of my favorite scenes that I've written. If I'm kind of feeling not as confident going into that writing session, because I need the little reminder of like, hey, it's not total garbage. Like, you know, you're able to write a decent scene. So let's revisit this, you know, get some encouragement and get to work. So that's kind of what I
love that. I love that. Jessi really loves music. Put together an awesome playlist. It goes on to the back page as well.
It's a long playlist. Yeah.
It's a long playlist. It's a fire playlist. But yeah, for the candle, I feel like at least on Etsy, a lot of like book boyfriend scented candles are like heavier scents and things like that versus like lighter. And I mean, I feel like most book boyfriends don't smell like flowers, but like what type of scent do you like to smell? Does it change on like the type of scene you're writing, or are you just like, I have a favorite candle and that is always getting lit?
Yeah, I kind of like, I don't really do, I know a few like writer friends who do like scent association with like the book that they're working on. I don't really do that. There's 2 candle scents from Bath and Body Works that I really like. One is mahogany teakwood, which is kind of like more masculine. And then I also really like eucalyptus mint. Eucalyptus is like known for like stress relief and just like relaxation. So yeah, I really like those 2.
That's awesome. Let's see. We have Chantel asked, if you could eat dinner with one of your characters, who would it be and why? And maybe answer first from the Devil's Waltz and then expand it to like, if it also included the people from the Taken by the Fae.
That just like, I wasn't even thinking that, but like, I feel like if we got all the characters from the Devil's Waltz, or at least Xander and Blake, and had a dinner party with like Tristan Westbrook from the Taken by the Fae book, I just feel like Jessi would be in trouble.
You'd have too many super powered like guys.
I would not be having dinner.
This is a self-published book, but it is awesome,
Yes.
and Jessi wrote it. So even though it's not an inimitable title, we will still praise it.
I really appreciate that. And there is a little Easter egg for that story in The Devil's Waltz, if you happen to come across it. I feel like you'll probably know if you do, especially if you've read Taken by the Fae. But yeah, I would say a dinner party with Tristan, Blake, and Xander. And Noah. Let's just throw him in the mix too, because
Noah.
Book 2. That's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, but I guess like just from The Devil's Waltz, probably maybe Harper, because she's like the best friend. Like, I would love to be besties with Harper. Wait, would I though? I'm thinking about this more. I'm backtracking. I'm taking that answer back. I'm going with the Demon Fae Hunter dinner party. Like, it's gonna be chaotic, but I'm here for it.
So do you have the girls on speed dial to be like, yo, get your guys in order? Or is it gonna be like, nope, you're just gonna
Okay. In this world, they don't exist. It's just me and the boys. So
got it. Jessi has a pen name that this
next question.
Okay. What other titles did you consider? Now, granted, this is not something that I really weighed in on, because you had this title basically, I think the first time you had handed it over to me back in 2014 as when I was your critique partner. And you had made a video on your YouTube channel about like, I don't like, what if I rewrote it, but then put it under my pen name? But I'm so in love with the title, The Devil's Waltz. And I've talked about it enough times that if I did that, people would know that my pen name is me, which I understand you want that separate. But before that, how did you land on it? Did you think of other things?
It's never been anything else. So unfortunately, I couldn't tell you where it came from, because I came up with it a decade ago, and I don't even know where it came from, because you know what? Maybe I do. So in the very first version of the book, there was a masquerade. No, it wasn't a masquerade, but it was like a charity ball.
Yes.
And there was dancing. That's the only thing I can think of. Either that, or I had the title already and I had to write that scene. So like the title was like, oh, okay, dancing. But there's no dancing in this one. So like, yeah. Oh no, you guessed the sequel title. Darn it.
But if anyone does actually want to try and guess the sequel title, Jessi and I think you may be a collaborator, the Inimitable Books account, a collaborator. If not, go over to Jessi's Instagram. She had announced she shared the publisher's marketplace announcement and blocked out the final part of the title. So if you have guesses, have at it. We have a title reveal scheduled, but it's for a bit. You'll have to wait.
You gotta wait a little bit.
Sorry, not sorry, as you said earlier. That question, I don't remember if I said, it came from Natalie Locke, but I'm just looking up to see when the title reveal is. Yeah, October 24th.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Which is also going to be Jessi's birthday. So you all can put that in your calendars if you're like really excited for the sequel, which you should be. Let's see. We got so many questions. Chandra had asked, what was your inspiration for your book cover? I know we went through like a lot of different ideas, kind of like trying to fine tune what we eventually wanted. And we had like comp title covers. We had I had briefly suggested like we do an illustrated cover because of things like the deal with the faking and some other like romantasy stories that I had been seeing that weren't Sarah J. Maas. But then we decided on not doing an illustrated cover. So, want to talk more about that?
The cover design process was interesting. There were a couple like iterations of the cover that really just it didn't really hit the mark with the story. I knew I wanted something that was floral, like a floral element, but like darker. And that was kind of the main thing. And I used like a lot of like darker, more like paranormal fantasy comps. But yeah, just like looking at it, I think at one point there was like more going on the cover, and I kind of wanted to like pull back and just like let it be fairly simple. So it's really just like the flower and the like copper swirls, and then the hunter's obsidian dagger in the middle, which no spoilers. I just
which is in the story.
It's in the story. Yeah.
End of sentence.
End of sentence.
Yeah, I think it was really cool. And once we landed on it, we were like, I think the last thing we were tweaking was like, how bold do we make the title?
Yeah.
Like how thick do we make the text? Because Keelan, the amazing cover designer of The Devil's Waltz, and also many of Inimitable's titles.
And all of my titles. Like she does all the covers. Yeah.
Yeah, she had sent in multiple versions. She's like, here's one version, here's like a super bold version, here's a slightly less bold version, and then here's the version that we finally went with. And we're like, I was like staring at it, I was like, oh, choice paralysis for a moment. Let's get rid of the extra bold. And then we're down to 3.
Yeah.
Or 4. I can't count. Whatever. We got there.
It's
gorgeous.
There. Yeah.
It's gorgeous, and it had gold foil. So like
yeah.
Perfection. Sam had asked, what's some real fun life inspo for your work? Given she says the word fun, I would say maybe not mental health stuff I know how to accurately portray a panic attack.
I love having panic attacks. They're the highlight of my day, and it was just so much fun to relive it on the page. No, I think a lot of the sarcasm is definitely me. The like witty banter back and forth between the main character and the love interest. Not that I have that in my life, but just like banter in general is very much my personality. I'm a Scorpio, so like I'm fiery, but also really fucking funny. So I really enjoy writing characters who are compassionate, but also have like a fiery side. So yeah.
Some of my favorite people are Scorpios. I feel like they get a lot of shit. And it's like, if you have a bad opinion of Scorpios, it means that you cross them. Like, what did you do?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the same way that like I've learned that people who like don't like cats, I'm like, what'd you do? Like, there's one thing if a cat just doesn't care and is disinterested in you as a person, but if cats specifically don't like you, it means you did something.
Yeah.
And growing up, I didn't understand that distinction because the only people I knew who had cats were clearly not respecting their cats, like boundaries and things like that. And I was like, oh, I'm like scared of cats because it sounds like they can just like scratch you for no reason. And it's like, no. That's not what happens.
Right.
So Scorpios, you're cool. You're also, like you said, really funny. We have Natalie asking, what famous actors would play your characters, or what's a famous character that's similar to yours? You can do one or both, or yeah.
So let me see, because I did, like I said, I do like a Pinterest inspiration board. So I do have like fan casts only to like help me visualize and describe the characters. So I can actually pull it up.
While you're doing that, Rebecca K. Sampson came in. Hello. She said, hi, lovely. Veronica King had said the cover is in dark mode, the preferred mode, honestly. And yes. I mean, can you imagine this with a happy, bright cover?
So, okay.
And then Veronica also said Scorpio's cat energy, which makes sense that you have a cat.
You're not wrong. For Camille, I had this actress who is, oh God, I'm not good at this.
I forgot screens are like that. If you give me the name, I can pop it up really quickly.
Yeah, it's Danielle Rose Russell from Legacies.
Oh, yeah.
And then Xander, I think I can't pronounce it. Oh, yes, I can. It's Maxence Danette Fovel. Yeah. So yeah, there's Camille.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Hold on. Yes, and she's great, and she's super
so
cool.
Pretty. Yeah.
And then you said Maxent.
Yeah, Maxence, and then his last name is DANET hyphen FAUVEL.
Yeah, I think I misspelled something. Okay. And it says Russell as well at the end, which is.
They're not related.
I know. I'm like, is this. Nope. Why is this a place where. Okay.
There he is. Those are some interesting photos. But yeah.
This is just what Google's giving me. I'm not doing anything. But yeah. I don't know. This outfit reminds me more of Blake.
100%. But yeah, here's more like
cool outfit.
Yeah, that's in my book 2 board for reasons. So anyway,
excited now. Regina is here. Hello. Hi.
Thank you so much.
Let's see. Just trying to see questions. That one I want to say for the end. Did any character names change throughout the writing process? That is also from Natalie.
We changed a few like minor characters just for like letter. There was too many that started with the same letter, but the core 4, so Camille, Xander, Blake, and Harper, those names have been the same from the start, I think.
Hi, Phoebe.
Yeah, Phoebe's here.
And Phoebe was always Phoebe in the book as well.
Yeah. One of Camille's like really good friends is named Phoebe after this one, who of course is named after Phoebe Buffay from Friends.
Can you tell it's her favorite show?
No, absolutely not. No.
Yeah. And then I think our second to last question from Instagram comes from Chantel. What was your favorite?
So back to the name question. I have to mention this. So Noah, who is, you guys will get to know him. His original name was Kieran, which I freaking love that name. But my sister had to like go off and start dating someone named Kieran. He's great. But
you're still like, I don't want to immortalize you in my book.
It's a no from me because I'm like, there's reasons I can't do it. So
I can guess.
Yeah, as much as I love the name, I was like, yeah, no, it's good. I love
it's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, basically. So that's enough. That's one of the like bigger names that changed. But it changed before I even started rewriting this final version. So
yeah. Chantel asked, what was your favorite thing about writing The Devil's Waltz?
I think just finally getting it out for the final time, like letting it out of my brain, because all the years that have passed since I wrote the first version of it, and even the second and the third, I would always go to other projects. And Camille and Xander lived in the back of my mind, like saying, hey, when is it our turn? And they never stopped talking to me. Even when I was working on any of my other books, like in the back of my mind, it was always like, I know they're still there. I still have their story to tell. So I think just finally being able to do it was the best part.
You're like, great. You can still talk to me because I need you to for the sequels, but you don't have to be like,
right. You don't have to like bang on the door. Like you're getting the attention that you deserve. So it's all good.
Yeah. And then our final question from Instagram comes from Sam, who, just for fun, asked, "How are you so gorgeous?"
Sam, I love her. Thank you.
Fun fact for people who don't know, I met Sam through the Wonder Writers Retreat, which was organized by Jessi. And then Sam has been, kind of becoming your second in command for that, I think, in a way to like help you not have to do everything yourself. So
for sure, yeah. We don't have a title for it anymore. It's kind of just like the wherever we're going writing retreat. But yeah, it's a lot.
It's like the retreat period.
The retreat, yeah.
Okay, so we covered outlining. You did touch on world building, because with edits and stuff, but I mean, for book 2, you have things in place from book 1. I also emailed you and was like, hey, can you describe like how the Hunter Academy works?
Right.
And things like that. So how much of it do you have like in notes or a document or some form of like, I have this plan and it's not on the page for the readers yet? Or is it just like, oh, I'm writing the story, therefore I need to build this part of the world?
I do have like a world building document that was kind of, when I wrote book 1, I was writing in Scrivener. So it's just like part of the binder, I guess. So I still have that as a working document, and I'm sure we'll reference it. I'm still like in the first 10% of book 2. So I haven't really got into like the bigger world building that I'm going to need, the stuff like the world building, like rules and stuff that I established in book 1. And quite honestly, I don't feel that I really established too much world building in book 1. I think it's really going to come into play, and I'm going to have to figure some stuff out while writing book 2, which will then carry into book 3. Which at this point is just a giant question mark. But yeah, I basically just use a blank document and just throw crap in it as it comes to me and as like I figure stuff out, knowing that I'll need to reference it later to keep stuff consistent. And yeah, that's basically it.
I'm going to put this up because if you have questions, you should put them in the chat so we can do them. But we're also probably going to wrap up maybe like in a few minutes, 20 minutes max, because I have a very early flight tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm going to England for a week. But I unfortunately won't be meeting Blake because A, he's fictional, B, he's back in the States.
He's back in the States, yeah.
Right. So outlining, world building, character names. How did you come up with the idea for like the demon hunting and things like that? Was it inspired by like, I don't know, love for Sweet Evil by a certain author, or was it just like the general vibe that was going through like this genre for a period? You also have shadow hunters and just like a bunch of million things, or was it just like, oh, the story came to me this way?
Yeah, I think it was probably a mashup of all that, like all the books that I was reading at the time. I was also reading the Dark Elements series by Jen Armentrout, which had demons, but I don't think they didn't have like hunters per se, but they had somebody opposing the demons. So I think that was kind of the main idea was that, okay, so I know my supernatural creature is demons. I need kind of the opposite of that. So hunters, they kind of threaten the lives of the demons. But yeah, I was also really big into shadow hunters. I'm trying to think of like, and at the same time, like I did read the Sweet Evil series and the Hush Hush series and the Fallen series. So it was a lot of like fallen angels, which isn't really like, I guess, depending on how you look at it, I didn't really tap into that part of the lore, but I guess like fallen angels are demons sometimes. Like, I didn't
It depends. Yeah.
But also, I think if you ever watched the original version of Charmed, there was a demon named Cole, and he just like spoke to little Jessi as like, wow, like he's so evil, but he still clearly is in love with Phoebe, who in the Charmed series is a witch. I just like always think back to that show, and I really want to rewatch it. I have them all now. I'm gonna end up rewatching it probably as I'm working on book 2. So yeah, I think that's sort of where it came from, because I knew I wanted kind of that like that aspect of the adversary, like who is the number one enemy of a demon hunter. Who is the number one enemy of a demon hunter? A demon. Okay, cool. And I guess I also didn't even really realize it until book 1 was like finished and about to come, well, not about to come out, but like it was done, and it sort of clicked that like it's in some ways like a Romeo and Juliet retelling, very like vaguely, because it's like we have Camille's parents who are high up in like the demon hunting organization, and then she ends up falling in love with their number one enemy. And so like Camille's existence like poses a risk to what? No, I think that's a spoiler. No. Anyways.
Her existence poses a threat to a lot of people's plans.
Yes. Yeah. And Xander's existence poses a risk to Camille in the eyes of her parents, just because he's a demon. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we had tossed around in the description, in a very early version of the description, to say that they were star-crossed lovers, which is, I'm pretty sure, a term that comes from Romeo and Juliet, or at least was made popular by Romeo and Juliet. I'm pretty sure that was Shakespeare who came up with that phrase, the same way he came up with a bunch of other things. Have you ever seen like that image where it's like Shakespearean insults, and then you like look through it and you're like, wow, that's a lot of things that we still say today, and who knew?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, lean into the Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. Okay. Well, so if you see like a slight shift in focus of our marketing, you know why.
Yeah. It's a modern day paranormal R&J.
Hey, you know what? I mean, R&J is great. Although yours is like gonna be an actual romance. People need to remember Romeo and Juliet is one of Shakespeare's tragedy plays.
Yeah, that is not a romance, friends, and certainly not the way I'm going with it. So no worries there.
Ultimately, you know, there's angst for.
Oh, for sure. Like the characters are not getting off easy.
Although they are kind of getting off.
They absolutely are getting off. But they're not getting off easy.
Yeah, I don't have any more. I feel like the ones from Instagram kind of covered a wide swath.
Yeah, they were great.
But we have some good ones in the chat. Nope, that is not a question. But this was saying, you know, a lot of anxiety rep in books shows people as being a victim, and Amara just like really lucky you didn't do that. Let's save Amara's first question actually for last because I feel like it's a really good note to end on.
Okay.
But Amara, set up a pacemaker planner to track words after your Instagram story. What kind of word count plan do you follow? I don't, all of these words do not mean much to me, but that's because like I think I missed that story, and also like I'm not writing my own stories right now, so my brain was probably like, oh, it's not Devil's Waltz or like personal, like other life related stuff. My brain didn't hold on to it.
So I've started using Pacemaker while I'm drafting book 2, and I set it up, the word count that I wanted, my deadline, and then I put it on the, I think it's oscillating is the word, which basically means the word count fluctuates every day. You're not writing the same amount every day. And say like you don't, like I haven't written in a few days. So if you don't add any words to it, it changes. It like adjusts your word count to keep you on track with your goal. But it's really cool. I like it, and I would recommend the oscillating because it's cool.
That's very cool. So tip from Jessi. And when I go back to writing, I will probably do that because I think the oscillating thing would be helpful for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found it to be.
Because I was, doing a Scrivener tutorial yesterday. And one of the things I showed was like, oh, you can set the target and it'll say how many words a day you need to write. And that's static. I mean, obviously, like if you haven't written for a day, it'll recalculate, but then it'll recalculate based on this is how many days you have left till your deadline, divided, like your word count divided by that number.
Yeah.
Which means it's expecting you to write the same amount every day. And my brain does not like that.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to apologize. I think it's fascinating. I was just like, oh, I missed something. So I'm looking forward to hear the answer. So, and then fellow Inimitable author Veronica King asked, how do you feel about the trad pub experience compared to your indie pub experiences?
There's pros and cons to each. I think the thing that I struggled with the most was relinquishing control. Because like I basically want to know, and Zara can attest to this, every single thing that's going on at all times because I'm so used to that, like controlling every single aspect of the process. So being able to just like be like, okay, here's the book. I trust you to do all the things that needs to be done before it releases, as opposed to like from an indie perspective, it's on me. Like if I mess up, that's on me. But again, like on the flip side, I did get a lot of opportunities that I haven't gotten as an indie. Like I was able to go to multiple bookstores and see my book on the shelf, sign it, and just like have that experience as well.
Maybe put a pin in that because that is related to the final question that Amara asked. But like, so we will circle back around to it. But yes, So as that
just like different experiences, and like we got an audiobook deal that I wouldn't have gotten if I had indie published this necessarily. Like it would have been a lot more difficult to get. So yeah, there's certainly pros and cons to each, and I think at this point we'll continue to pursue both routes because I think the hybrid author thing is definitely for me. So
I think to be fair and to like know that you're not alone, like I also want to know everything that's happening, and what happened to Inimitable that was completely unpredicted and couldn't have seen it coming in ever was my grad school professor had reached out and was like, hey, my publishing company, which I run, which I knew because he was still doing it when he was my teacher, would like to take you under my wing. We're a distribution client of Simon & Schuster. And it's like, oh, that's awesome. It now means I have to abide by certain timelines, and there are a lot of more chefs in the kitchen at times. so there were times where even I was like, no, I need information. And Jessi would be like, hey, do you have this? And I'd be like, honestly, I do not. And
Honestly,
I wish I
no.
could say yes. So I will get back to you.
Yeah.
But like I tried to be pretty transparent. I think it was more just like, yeah, it isn't all on you, but that also means you don't like if something goes wrong, you can't be like, oh, I can fix it immediately. There was like a chain of command
Right.
to go through.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes frustrating because that normally means more time.
Yeah. And I think being like a smaller press is also a unique experience because I think as from an author perspective, I'm able to ask more questions and get more transparency than maybe someone at a bigger house would.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that falls for me under the pro column.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. And then our final question of the night comes from Amara. How amazing is it seeing your book in a store?
It's so, oh man, I like no words. Basically, the first time that I saw it, I kind of just like stood there staring at it, like, no, this isn't real life. Like, somebody is gonna like run by me with a camera because this is a prank show or something. But it's just been so cool, and I awkwardly stood in front of it when I first saw it for a good 20 minutes, kind of like walking around the romance section and returning to it, making like awkward eye contact with one of the like staff until I was finally like, I wrote that. Could I like sign it? So that was a super cool and like weirdly nerve-wracking experience because it's kind of like, I don't want to like come off as like so arrogant that I'm like, oh, of course they want my autograph in the book. But also like as a reader, I'm like, hell yeah, if I walk into a store and find that it's signed, that's even cooler. So
Oh, 100%. But I yeah, like I don't think it was until I was self-publishing, not that my books were going to be in a bookstore, but that I was self-publishing and following a bunch of other authors that I found out that like, yeah, sometimes bookstores don't want you to sign their stuff. And I'm like, not.
yeah. So like the first time I asked, today I went to 2 different Indigos and I did not ask. I just signed them.
So have they said no, or was it just like asking
No,
too nerve-wracking?
yeah, just the experience of having to be like, hi, I wrote this. Can I sign it? It's a no. I didn't enjoy that experience. So I was like, what are they going to do? Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah. Barnes and Noble ordered a lot of copies, so theoretically you should be able, if you're in the US, Jessie's in Canada, if you're in the US and you spot it, please take a picture, tag either of us. Yeah, the timing on my trip when this book date got moved, it means I can't go scouting Barnes and Nobles around Manhattan within the first few days. So if we're lucky, by the time I come back to New York, they'll all be sold out. But
yeah.
if you see it in a Barnes and Noble, please take a photo and tag both of us, Inimitable Books LLC, and then author Jessi Elliott. That's on Instagram. Yeah, and yeah, please buy it. That would be the best way to support us. But yeah, that I think is the best way to end off on this. Aside from like one final bonus-ish question, how's it feel to be a trad/hybrid pub author now?
Really freaking good. Like I am so excited just to like see what the future brings for this series, and yeah, I'm just feeling very optimistic and definitely riding the high. I wasn't initially going to take today off work, and then I texted my boss last night and I was like, listen, I don't think I'm going to be very focused on work today, so I'm just going to take a personal day. And that was a good call because I've just been on cloud 9 all day long, like trying to respond to people on my phone, driving around to bookstores. And yeah, if you're in Canada, check Indigo because a lot of locations have at least 1 or 2 copies, especially in Toronto. I know around me in like KW they've sold out, which is great. But I can't send my friends to their local stores because the books are gone. But yeah, it's just
what a problem to have.
It's
I'm
a good
so
problem
happy
to
for
have.
you.
I'm not gonna complain. I think it's
Oh
great.
no, I know you're not complaining. I'm just like very happy to hear that.
Yeah, so no, it's been a great day, and I'm so grateful for the experience, being able to have this book published, especially with this one. If you want more information on that whole thing, go check out the behind the book video on Inimitable Books channel that was posted today. I kind of talk more about the process of the book and the like revisions it went through, and kind of like our personal relationship about how this book came to be and published. So it's a really great story, I think, and it's very special to me. So
Yeah.
So thank you so much for everything that you've done for the book, and I'm so excited to continue growing with you. So thank you.
Yes. Now let me pull up this fun little outro of just your book. I just love when I can change the outro for a video, because it's like another book is out, or like a new book is out, and this is us just like celebrating that book individually. It's exciting. It's so exciting. But it always leads to, did I remember to upload it to StreamYard, or was I just so caught up in everything else that I forgot? So we're gonna play this. It's on my computer somewhere. I'm sorry. This is not the smooth exit that I was hoping for.
It's okay. We're doing great.
Yeah, I just saved it. Where'd it go? Oh no. Oh, just searching, the entire computer files.
It's all good. I'm glad, Amara, that it's near you. I know you've already read it, but it's always cool to see that it's in stores around people that I know. So that's very special.
Yes. And found the file. We're going to play it in just a second. Video file. There we go. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And we'll say good night and goodbye. And please buy the book.